Hello, hello. Today we have a new show, and it's going to be about aquariums. That's why the change of scenery. So today is Monday Fun Day. It's May 22nd, 2023. Whew, it's been a long May, okay? It's my birthday month, so it's always the most busiest time of the year for me. Uh, for example, Saturday, we were on Philanda Jones and Jesse Jones and Pastor Jesse Jones' show on Saturday doing their show, and it was a long day. So I hope you were able to watch that. If you were not able to watch it because it was a long day for you too, go and see the recording. Okay. Normally Jesse, I believe, breaks it up and then posts the whole thing. So look forward to the teasers and then the entire show in its entirety. It's hilarious and it flows. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Again, make sure you catch that show. Um, we're gonna. I'm trying to get to the comments. I'm doing too much today. Hey, Sean Anthony, thank you for coming. Um, so definitely look in the comments. Jesse and Philanda love to comment, and they will definitely put all the information there so you can see what dates they're going to post and broadcast. And they have other guests as well, so it's not just me. Eddie was there too, and he has some games and things we played, so it was pretty fun. But I'm trying to give people more time to log in. I'm a little late today because, again, had a lot going on in the background with these aquariums. As you can see, in this aquarium, we have some plants floating, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Let me see. So I have some things I want to show you guys today, and we're going to try to get on and show you all of these things if we can get on here and get it on. I'm still looking for it. I think I'm going to need some help. But anyway, today's show is Adroit Living. Oh Lord, sorry about that. Adroit Living. On this show, we like to talk about self-soothing techniques today, and one of the self-soothing techniques that I have is aquariums. A lot of people say, "Oh, I can't afford an aquarium. It's a lot of work, and I don't know how to do this or that." And it can be discouraging for some people to try to, you know, be on to have a hobby and to not have that hobby to work out for them. I spoke with a young lady, and she said that she used to have an aquarium, but then she became discouraged because it was a lot of cleaning and it was goldfish, and the goldfish were really dirty. And one day her husband came home, and there was a pond in the backyard, okay, because the fish, yeah, they had to go. So after talking to her, I did promise that I would do a series to show how easy it is and low maintenance it can be. Now, the aquarium that you saw that in my background, usually that one is more of a high maintenance aquarium, but the one I'm going to show, all the ones I'm going to show today are going to be very low maintenance aquariums. So stay tuned for that. I want to see if I can. I cannot find um, the video where I have the um, all the information and all the pictures and everything. I cannot find it, so I'm just gonna have to ad lib, I guess. So anyway, um, let's see. Maybe I can open it up in a different way and just share that with you guys. Um, let's see. There it is. So you can have the pictures to go with it, so you can understand that it's how affordable things are and how much you can easily manage these things. And it's not just me saying that you can manage it. You can manage it. What did you say? I can show parts of the picture when you need it. Okay, good. So Eddie bought this aquarium. Hi, Matthew. I like the back. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for noticing. It is a new background, isn't it? So Eddie bought this aquarium for me. Like I said, with the very first one, the 75-gallon aquarium that he had custom made, he purchased that as well. And this aquarium he just recently purchased so that I can share with you on the show. I had a great idea because some people say, well, I don't have time for an aquarium. And some people, they still need that self-soothing because they go to work and their work-life balance just really sucks because it's stressful and they don't really have a way to calm down from being at work and then extreme home, coming home, and it's so much that you have to do at home, so many personal things you got to go through, and it can be difficult to relax. So what I'm showing you here is the aquarium Eddie had just recently purchased because this was an extremely affordable set. Eddie, you're gonna stream the this aquarium and all the items it came with. Now, the reason I say it's affordable is because it came with everything that you need with before you ever modify it. Here, you see a modified version of that very same aquarium because I don't like a couple of things about the aquarium. For example, here you see all of these wonderful things. Now I'm going to everything you need. So the inside the lid are two rows of lights. And the only thing I don't like about it is all white for um, growing anything like the plants that's in the aquarium. It's just white lights. You'll get a lot of algae buildup, and you don't really want algae buildup. It comes with a really nice net. I really like that net. Um, the filter that you see in the upper corner there is it's okay, but you can modify it. And I wish I had my presentation so I could show you how you can modify it, but we'll get to that. In the middle under the net is the filter cartridge that goes in this aquarium filter. And it's nice. It's got everything you need in just that little one package. But again, with the modifications that the aquarium hobby has evolved to, it's a lot easier and low maintenance and more affordable, far more affordable. For example, this cartridge under the fish net, you could replace that with some sponges. I'll show you the sponges, and it'll do a much better job, and it's far more affordable, pennies to the dollar. Okay. Now I do like that thermometer that they have there, the heater that they have there, but on the heater you cannot tell which direction you turning the needle in. Are you turning the needle to get colder? Are you turning and it's getting hotter? You cannot tell except for the numbers will go up and down. And by the time the numbers go up and down, it might be a problem for your aquarium. Okay, so that could be a problem, and that's why I didn't like that. But I moved this aquarium that you see here. This was an 8-gallon aquarium, so I just transferred everything from my 8-gallon aquarium to this aquarium, and that aquarium is previously featured online. So here you can see in this picture, this is the aquarium that I have here. I modified it a lot. I have not plugged up the heater, and I use a different filter. Now, in the back of this aquarium, you can see it's all black, and the reason why it's all black is because I have. Let me see if I can share this with you. I had it all arranged, but for whatever reason, it just did not go through properly. So I can't share it with you. Um, Let me see. Maybe I can get Teddy. Can you help me to show the slides, please? I can't figure out where it is. It's on this computer. What do I do? Go to present. Go here. This one. Okay, I was like really confused. Um, okay, now see, this is what I'm saying. I got my background, I got my guys because I promise you, I when you get tired, you are just not yourself, and I don't care what you do, you just you tired, and it'll come around, it'll come around. But this is live, so I wanted to do it live, the whole thing. I wanted to put the whole aquarium together live for you so you can see it's not difficult and it's really easy and it's affordable. But whew, I was trying to catch all the fish that I had in the 8 gallon aquarium. And because it's guppies, they bred. And I'm trying to catch all the little fish. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot see all this. And I could not have done that live because there's no way that I wouldn't have went viral with the comedic things that were going on trying to catch all of those fish. It was comical, but it was frustrating. How would you rate the filter? That filter, the top fin filter, I would rate it higher than the Aqueon filter. The Aqueon filter was really nice, and I do the other aquariums that I'm going to show you are from that. This one is a top fin aquarium, and I'm not really happy with this aquarium because um, I've been doing this hobby for over 20 years. I hate to date myself, but something about the adhesive, the 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 sealant is nice and black, and that's great. I love that because I think it gives more of a professional feel, and I really love the fact that my really hard about where he would get it from. So that was nice. But here inside of the thing here that keeps the thing, it seems like they just put the glass together and then they put it inside of this frame that barely fits and then tried to glue the frame to the glass. And in some parts of the bottom frame here, it's in and the corner kind of stick out and it's room and it will give a beginner the idea that the aquarium won't hold water. The only thing that I thought that would probably prevent the aquarium from holding water is the sealant. The sealant wasn't put on properly, and it was coming off a bit, and it was rather tacky. And you need to wipe the aquarium out before you ever put anything in it. So you wipe the aquarium out really good and test it, make sure it's going to hold water because crap happens. Okay, so the Aqueon, this is the Aqueon. Now this is a 20 gallon aquarium, normally $46, but you can get it from Petco for $1 per gallon. And I strongly suggest waiting. It's only the aquarium, but again, they have aquarium kits, and you can get those sometimes for under $100. The whole set, the entire set, the filter, the heater, thermometer, the lights, just the tank. So, but with this, you see how the black top and bottom frames are? They are very well made, and you can um you can maneuver it better because even though the sealant is um white and it doesn't have that professional black look, it kind of disappears when you put the water in it. So mm, I, I have to go with that one because the sealant was always better than it is with the top fin. So I definitely would stronger suggest that you would get an Aqueon aquarium, but and you could get the whole kit that comes with it. Although I don't like the thermometer because it does not tell you if it's getting hotter, getting colder, and there's no real numbers on it, so you can't really gauge what's going on with it, and that's a big part of being in the hobby. So in this aquarium, instead of the hang on the back filter, which is a HOB that they have that you saw Eddie stream to you, I replaced that with this sponge. Now this $11, and you get a real way more than what you need for a 20-gallon aquarium, as you can see in this aquarium. Now, I had to cut some of it so it would fit in this aquarium. So this filter, penny, is very much affordable. So you could purchase one on your own. That's from Amazon. I'm an Amazon shopper. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I'm gonna tell it like it is. So that filter is also the sponges that I put in my bigger aquariums that I normally have in the background. That gets the small particles out of your aquarium. So like when the fish poo or you overfeed, and a lot of times we overfeed, it's getting all of that out of the water so the water can be very clear. But in this aquarium, I wanted to show you the process so you can, you know, be content with the process. Don't think that it's just going to jump up and be like showroom ready. It's not going to be showroom ready. So here, I have plants from a new vendor. Um, the plants came really late, so I don't really want to say their name because I don't want to be mean about what happened, and it kind of threw me off. So I wasn't able to present properly because it came a little late, and they had some issues, but they did troubleshoot. Um, and they made sure that they made up the order as best they could, and they got it to me as fast as they could. So I guess I will say their name because I did tell them that I would let them. I would definitely say something about it, and I'll show you in more details later when I'm a little bit more prepared. But today I'm extremely exhausted. But so the plants arrived, and I had to float them because they came late, and I didn't have the time to deal with anything. But it's fine because in this aquarium, I planted the other ones because some of them you need to plant. But this aquarium, I have plants that don't necessarily need to be planted, and I've already had those plants in other aquariums where I saw I can attach it to a rock and it'll grow just fine. So the big plant that's floating in there is called an Amazon sword. Now I love the Amazon sword plant because it can take hot, cold, whatever, and it's not going to be too fussy. It'll melt back a little bit, but it'll grow the babies stronger and more um, strong because it's fitting to your parameters of your aquarium. So you don't have to keep chasing the pH. You don't have to keep chasing. The plant is very hardy. I highly recommend getting an Amazon sword for your aquarium. And there's some other plants in there, but I can't really see which ones. But don't worry, we're going to get into greater details with them. The plants that you see at the bottom of the aquarium are all Anubis plants. They have a ribosome, and all the leaves come out of the ribosome. And I will get further into that as well. We're going to do a little series where you can see very closely and everything up front so you can see um, what you're spending money on and how that's going to work for you to be like that extremely large aquarium that I have downstairs. Because these are the plants that I have in that big aquarium, and that's why it looks so beautiful. Because I'm not doing any of the work. The fish are actually growing the plants. For example, this pothos plant here is growing out of the aquarium. It was in the 8-gallon aquarium, and now I moved it into this aquarium. It's growing because the fish are feeding it. The fish are giving it the water. Well, I topped the water off, but that's a whole nother story. I'm going to get into that too. But I'm not growing any of these plants because I kind of suck at it. If there was a difference between a green thumb and something that kind of 50-50, you have a 50-50 chance, that's the color of my thumb, whatever that is. But anyway, in the aquarium, though, I have 100% success rate growing plants because I'm not doing anything. I'm just feeding my fish and topping off the water. That's it. It's nothing else to it. The plants that I have in here, you can get under $10 from aquariumplantSales.com. AquariumplantSale.com. Now, the reason why I said that is because they are freaking awesome. I've been dealing with them for a very long time. The plant that's in here now, I want to have something that, for example, I don't, if I can't get something from aquariumplantSale.com, I can call someone else, and that someone else, I saw from another YouTuber that has aquarium hobby. He was using wetplants.com. Now, I don't know if they just started or what's going on with that, but I really appreciate the fact that throughout the troubles that they had, they really worked diligently to resolve the issues. I love companies. I don't care if it's a mom and pop shop, if it's a new startup. I don't care what it is. If somebody has great customer service and they'll get good products to you, like the ones you see in this aquarium, and this is just a small sample of what they had. They have a wide variety of different plants, and so does aquariumplantSale.com. They have a very wide selection, and it's affordable. Now, aquariumplantSale.com, it's just shipping and handling is $10, and you can't beat that. And they get it to you pretty fast, so you can't beat that at all. I love it, and I call, and their customer service is great. They work with you, and if you have a problem, they'll work through that as well. And I had a couple of problems because I've been dealing with them for a couple of years now, but they always resolve the problems, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for companies that you can have a problem. I don't care how are you going to work this problem, because that's going to show who you are. That's what's going to tell me, can I do business with you? Can I recommend you? If I recommend you, is somebody going to come back to me and curse me out because you cursed them out, or you had bad business with them? So that's definitely something that I'm looking for. Um, so that's why I recommended those two, because they worked it out. So I'm not expecting perfection. I'm just expecting you to do what you need to do. And everything was done online. I didn't have to call and talk to anybody. I didn't have to go in physically to the store. I didn't have to pick these products. They picked out really great products. They shipped it as fast as they could and at affordable prices. So especially in the recession, the pandemic, it still was really affordable, and I highly recommend, because a lot of the plants you can get a bundle and it's still under $20. So I mean, it's hard to get groceries for $20, okay? So you can have a little decor, and it's going to last you for far longer if you were to spend $20 on your lunch, okay? Or dinner, whatever meal you're eating, is going to last you far longer than it takes you to eat and digest and want some more of for the next meal. Okay, so that's why I think that this is a far um, affordable project that you can do with a 20-gallon aquarium. Now, the Anubis are extremely hardy. At first, this little Anubis in the middle here, I thought that it died back like really bad, and it was like, um, now that's one of the plants that I purchased from like a while ago, and it seems like it didn't like the transition, so it died back, and it was just the ribosome that was left, and maybe one or two flowers, not flowers but leaves. And what happened was it began to grow back, and it has these tiny little leaves. It looks like a nana plant, a nana petite, but it's not. It's a Cophila, and the Cophila has sometimes a brownish tint to it, but it's very hardy, and it's starting to come back, and it's growing back in such an abundance. And I'm thinking, like, man, later down the road, this is probably going to be a little too big, but it's going to grow to like the size of the leaves here. And again, the size of the leaves here, again, it's adjusting, and it's growing a baby plant that's coming up to be stronger and more suitable for the parameters of the environment that it's in. So I had a light on it, and I had to keep changing the light because I had a Hager aquarium light, and the Hager light, I reported it to the company. I went all the way up the chain of command, and they said they were going to send me a replacement light because it broke under a year, and they never did. And I thought maybe it got caught up in shipping because it was coming from China, and I heard about how the freights were going back and forth, and it wasn't. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give them time or whatever. It never arrived, and it's been over a year. So I gather they're not going to do anything about it, but tell me, crazy stuff about, whatever, and continue to troubleshoot. But in my opinion, that's not how you troubleshoot to keep business, especially with loyal customers. That leaves room and opportunity for newcomers to come up and say, hey, I noticed that you're not happy, and here, won't you try this? And that's how new and better companies come along and replace those pre-existing, well-established companies, because they see the flaws and they fix the flaws, and now they have more business because that's what people are looking for. They don't care about the flaws. They care about the fixes to the flaws. So there you have it. And it's not just about you, it's about everybody. In business, one person represents 10,000. So it's better for someone to fix a problem than it is for them to say they're going to do something and do nothing. But anyway, here you can also see this heater back here. Now I that it's made of titanium, so it's not going to, well, a strong plastic. It's really not. It has a titanium look, but there's no way for you to tell if you're turning the heat up or down. But it does have the numbers on it, so you can see, and the little red thing there that shows if the temperature, what the temperature is or whatever. The problem is I need to know before that what the temperature is. So I have here what I had on the 8-gallon aquarium is this little thing here, and it tells me what the temperature is. It doesn't do very much, but it doesn't have to do very much. All I needed to do is to tell me what is the temperature on this aquarium, and once it tells me to go. And it's very affordable. Again, I got it on Amazon, and I am an Amazon shopper for a reason. So this is what it looks like. Um, it's a 4-pack, 3-pack, and you can get a single, but I would strongly suggest you get the one in the pack because um, it has a little battery that you have for like old watches or store-bought watches, where you put the little battery in there, um, and it lasts for quite a while. But sometimes, you know, gadgets can be fickle, and that happens. So it's better to have more than one, especially when you can get it for 12 bucks, $13 or something like that. It's really affordable, and then you don't have to replace the battery so much as go through to the next one until it comes time for you to purchase a battery. Batteries don't, of that size normally come in a pack, and you can, I mean, you could buy one, but it would behoove you to buy more than one and just replace all of them and keep rotating them as opposed to just buying the one. But this is the size of it. It's very small, as you saw in my hand. It has a suction cup on the back of it, so you can suction cup it to your aquarium, or you can lay it down on the aquarium shelf. And then it has another aquarium um, suction cup on the part that goes inside of the aquarium, so it can monitor. So it's two parts. It's the part that you see and the part you don't see. But in my aquarium, you might be able to see it on the further side there. That little white, where is it? Let me see if I can put my finger right there. You can see it there. Um, but I could easily hide it. Now, the sponge that I have in there, let's get back to the sponge. Now, the reason why I said what I said about the sponge filter is because filters are an important part of an aquarium. It's the part of the aquarium that keeps your aquarium clean. And without having that really clean look, it becomes a little tedious. I don't know what's going on with this. But anyway, this is the aquarium sponge that I would strongly recommend that you have 10-gallon or something like that, because this aquarium filter, it has different parts and you can modify it easily because you can take it apart easily and put it together easily. It is, of course, on Amazon. And these different parts of it, it has the suction cups. The suction cups suck. It doesn't really work as well as you would like. So you might want to put some decor in front of it so it doesn't float away. But it has sponges on either side of it, and it comes with an extra pair of sponges that's listed at the very top. Now, at the little bottles at the bottom of it, you can put media rocks in there. You can put matrix or media balls, clay balls, whatever kind of media you want. I would recommend that you cut a little bit of the sponge, the spare sponge, cut a little bit of that and put some um, activated carbon down at the bottom of it. That's what I did. I put a little bit of activated carbon down at the bottom of it. It's very fine and there's holes in there, so you have to make sure that it doesn't come out. And you put a little bit of that sponge, cut like a ring or two, and put it inside of that cap there, and it won't come out. The activated carbon will stay put and it will filter that way. The reason why I like the activated carbon is because sometimes we don't know what's going on in that aquarium and we don't want the fish to die. So that activated carbon gives it that extra cleanliness that the fish will definitely appreciate, and you will appreciate it as well because it also keeps odor away. So if you have a little stinky fish tank, you put a little activated carbon up in there, your stinky fish tank will not be stinky anymore. I've had aquariums in my bedroom for a very, very long time, many years, since I first owned one, and I've never had a fish smell in my room, like ever. So I used the hang on the back filtrations, and I kept cleaning them. They said don't clean them, replace them. But when you a college student and you on a budget, guess what we doing? We rinsing off those filter cartridges and putting them right back in there. Now that was before I learned about modifying the filtrations systems that come with it or that you buy along without, an aquarium. I had the Marine Land filter, like the Marine Land 350. And the Marine Land 350 was a great, I did a review on it, so look for that video. The Marine Land 350 is freaking awesome. Now, the aquarium was only 75 gallons, but it filters so good that I was like, this is the one. And it has like 4 different cartridges that you could put in, but I modified it, of course. I modified it because over time of rinsing the filters out and putting them back in, I was like, man, this is saving a lot of money. What else can I do? And then I found out about modifying it even further. Hey, Mike, thanks for coming. Stay tuned, stay tuned, because these things that people are doing, it's like a money grab, and it makes the hobby more expensive when it really doesn't have to be expensive. You can get this little water box. It's cheap if um you know what to do. If you don't know what to do, then it can be very expensive. For example, this little aquarium here with the sponge filter that I showed, the 2 sponge filters that I showed you. Now, the most expensive thing that you'll have is the water pump, or I should say the air pump. People recommend that the water pump. You see this thing here? It has a little knob over it, and it shows you that you need an air pump to pump water through the filter. Now, the stronger your air pump, the stronger the filter will work. And then this little nozzle that you have that comes outside, like a little L-shaped thing that comes out. The water comes out of there, and you'll see it in different. In a Teddy will show you that from a different aquarium. This Teddy, are you ready to show that aquarium? so we can see how that filter works. So while Teddy's getting ready to show us the filter, I'm also going to show you the aquarium. Now, it's another 20-gallon aquarium, and it is the Aquarium, and I love that one far more. I highly recommend, but if you need a kit, um, you might need to piece it together. So here we have Matthew's room, and can we get a closer shot, Teddy, of just the aquarium? So Matthew has the aquarium, and there's a filter right on the side there, right over on the side, and that's where the water comes out and filters out, and it pushes through. And what we did there was we modified it. Teddy, go up a bit so we can see the top of where the water's coming out. We modified it so that this aquarium is providing oxygen, and it's providing filtration, and it has an Imaginarium water pump that is suited for maybe a 60-gallon aquarium, but it's a 20-gallon aquarium. The reason we do that is because you see here at the top where the water is coming out and bubbling. Well, you want that to come quickly and filter out quickly so that it will filter the aquarium that's well overstocked. But it requires very little maintenance because the filtration system is so strong. Now, I have the little black thing coming up, and you can see the pothos plants in there, and the pothos plants are being, again, fed from the fish tank. The fish tank, anything. The fish in there are very happy. You have some snails in there. You got some algae eaters in there. You have catfish in there, and for the showfish, you have the guppies. So the guppies are in there breeding, and they're enjoying themselves. And the pothos is not only filtering the water, it's another filtration system for the water, but it's also filtering the air, so it makes the air easy to breathe and more comfortable to live in. So I didn't put that big mat in Matthew's filter because in this aquarium, that big mat is considered a matin filter. So it's going to filter the aquarium so much more because it's pulling all that water behind this big mat here. And this mat is going to filter the aquarium even more, which will make it so like I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to have to clean this aquarium. So you keep watching and stay tuned because I'm going to show you, and you're going to be able to see a time lapse for yourself. At least 30 days. I'll show you here, and I will be honest with you if I did any kind of maintenance at all. Now, I put the water from the 8-gallon aquarium, some of the water in here. So the water was already dirty. I wanted it to be dirty because sometimes we can be a little too anal retentive, and the fish, they can't live in clean water. They need some dirt, they need some grime, they need to put their stank on it. Okay? But it doesn't have to smell. And that's the part where if you have too much dirt in it, it will stink. But I've never had that problem, and I've always overfiltered it, and that is likely the reason why. In that 8-gallon aquarium, I just had 2 sponge filters that were not like the one you saw here. We'll get into that in the series, and I'll show you exactly what it was. Or you can revisit those previous posts and see it for yourself. Now here, we're going to show another aquarium because Matthew's aquarium had no lid to it. And he had a fish feeder on the back of there that's just like the one we see here. But in Elliot's room, he has a 20-gallon aquarium that is also an Aquarium aquarium. Now, kids do good in school. They get good grades. They say, hey, I would like acknowledgement for what I'm doing. And I will, can you get me this or can you get me that? And I say, yeah, I'll get your aquarium. I'll upgrade your aquarium. They one day aquarium upgraded. What'd you say? Can I use outside dirt? Would that kill them? I'm just asking. Well, a lot of people, there's a guy, and I kind of like him, so I'm gonna say his name, Father Fish. He has a channel, and he's talking about aquariums and cheap ways to fix your aquarium, and he does use some outside dirt. Would I use it? No, because I'm anal retentive and I cannot deal with that. So I deal with it like this. This is not outside dirt. This is gravel. In all the aquariums is gravel. Let's get a close look at Elliot's aquarium. Are you ready, Teddy? Okay, let's see Elliot's aquarium. So here is Elliot's aquarium. Kids, and you see that filter back there. Very well. It's keeping it really clean. I really like it, and so that he have enough algae in there so he can, um, you know, so the algae eaters can do their job. Because in Matthew's aquarium, it was the same thing in everybody's aquarium. So let it build up the algae. So it's been quite a while. Um, I normally order my fish from aquariumfishsale.com. I know this sounds real generic and it sounds like I'm making this up, but they're awesome. That is a real legit website, aquariumfish.com. They're freaking awesome, okay? One time they did send me some fish, and the whole box of fish. Oh my God, it broke my heart. Everything was dead. And I called. I was so broken. I was so broken. I was like, oh, these fish are so beautiful. They're gorgeous and they're full of color. Why would you? And they corrected it. And that's what I like. They corrected it. So here on Ellie's aquarium, can we see the top of it a little bit, Teddy? So we can see the pothos. Now, Elliot has a lid on there, much like the lid on this aquarium here. Um, and because the lid, you could put the pothos plants right in the back where the aquarium filtration system would normally hang, the hang on the back HOB aquarium. So the filtration would normally sit there, and you'll hear all that water running, and you can probably smell it more than you would like to, especially when it gets dirty. But with this, the pothos plants are helping to filter, and there is no smell. So that's more helpful than what you have with, thank you, Mike, what you have on the back of. Again, it hasn't cleaned it in quite some time. So it's really more helpful than having the HOB. Wait, they can ship. Yes, they can ship live fish. And let me tell you, their fish are so awesome. The probability of their fish um, surviving the transit and living a long time in my aquarium was higher than what I had seen with Petco, PetSmart, and local fish breeders. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. So I was really in love with that. And on the back of Elliot's aquarium, you can see, thank you, Teddy, you can see the fish feeder. Now, the fish feeder is kind of concealed behind the pothos plants, but that's great because you don't necessarily want to see it. And I imagine, here, it'll overgrow and you won't be able to see the fish feeder. But I'll get into the fish feeders through this series. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you know how your office was. Yes, if you're gonna put one in your office, definitely make sure you know what you're getting into because you don't know how they may feel about an aquarium being in there. But again, you can do this in small aquariums if you want. You can get refunds. I don't know what that's coming from or what he's talking about. Let's see these comments. So, what size tank would you recommend someone who's just beginning to get into owning an aquarium? You know, um, I would strongly suggest a 20-gallon because a 10 is a little too small, and you might get frustrated more easily, and it'll be a little bit more difficult to put the pothos plants on there to help with the filtration. Now, the pothos plants, you can get them from Home Depot, you can get them from Walmart, you can get them from wherever because everybody sells them. You get it in dirt. Take the dirt off. Um, get all the dirt off the roots. Matthew can do it, and he's the youngest. You get all the dirt off the roots. You rinse the roots as well as you can. You soak for a little bit. Do not get the leaves wet. Don't get any part of the greenery wet. It does not want to be wet, and it will tell you because it will die back. Um, so the roots are the only thing you want to put in the water. And in Elliot's aquarium, we were able to see the roots in the back. That stuff that was hanging down, that was the roots from the pothos, and that was a good thing because the guppies in there, there's a lobster in there, and the guppies in there, they're very fast moving, but they breed really fast. And the babies, they want somewhere to hide, and sometimes everybody wants somewhere to hide. So those roots provide a place for the fish to hide. In this aquarium, the pothos roots are behind the big filter mat. What are you saying? I'm saying that shipping through the post office can be good. Okay, aquariumfish.com does not use um, the post office. That's one thing I love about them. Um, you can, and the minimum payment that you pay for fish to have them to ship for free is like a little over $100. Not very much, but a little over $100, and they ship it for free and they overnight it. And by the time you get enough fish, you have to make sure you have a balance. Get catfish so they'll eat the poo. Get algae eaters so they'll eat the algae, and get you a shellfish or two, and build it that way and balance it, because you want to make sure that if you have one catfish, you can have maybe about three fish in there that's like guppies. And you can have one catfish in there and he'll eat the poo, and he wants to eat food as well. But that's a good balance. So, and then keep an eye on it so you can continue to balance, because fish grow. What are you doing? Good starter fish. Good question. Okay, so in this aquarium, you'll see the Neurite snails. The Neurite snail price has gone up since the pandemic. It's really unfair. So it's more difficult to get a lot of them, but they are really great algae eaters. So I would highly recommend at least about 5 to 10 in a 20-gallon aquarium, all depending on how long you're going to leave that light on. And a good starter fish is definitely going to be the guppies. I'm sorry. Out of all the fish that, and I have a beta and I have a small beta aquarium. We'll get to that in the series, so stay tuned. But the guppies, because the guppies are extremely hardy, you can put guppies in just some fresh water without having to put water conditioner in there or stress coat. We'll get to that as well. And they'll be just fine. And you slowly acclimate them if you buy them from the fish store. So I would highly recommend buying it from aquariumfish.com because, again, the higher probability ratio. So it's like if you have, they send it in a bag and you put the bag in the water, you open the bag and you put some of the aquarium water in the bag, and when they first come, and then wait about 10 minutes, and then you can put the fish into the water and they'll survive. Absolutely survive. No problems. What did you say, Mike? Oh, yes. Goldfish are really dirty. I have a little goldfish in Elliot's room. Teddy, can we see that? Elliot wanted to keep the little feeder fish. Now, he was a feeder fish that he was purchased so he could feed the lobster. And Elliot got really attached to him because the lobster refused to eat it, or he couldn't catch it, or whatever the case may be. So Elliot wanted to keep the little guy. And I was like, well, what are we going to do? This thing, it doesn't have a long lifespan. It's just a little feeder fish. It was only like 11 cents. So, but he wanted to keep it, and he was really passionate about it. So I let him keep it, and I put it in a little beta aquarium. Now, Teddy, whenever you're ready, the beta aquarium is a half gallon of water. Now, I have a beta in my aquarium. I'm going to show you this. This is the little goldfish. The water doesn't stay as clear because those things are very dirty. The pothos are having a difficult time keeping up with keeping it clean. He has a little air pump going in there. Thank you, Teddy. He has a little air pump going in there, keeping it aerated, but it's still having difficulties keeping up with the bio load from just that one little goldfish. So would I recommend goldfish as a starter? No, I would not. Not unless you really wanted to have something that needs your attention. I can't start with it. Well, you can start with a piranha, but you have to be ready to have disappointment. I wouldn't discourage you from getting whatever fish you want to start with first, but make sure that it fits the aquarium size that you have. If you have a 55-gallon aquarium, yeah, you could probably start out with a bigger fish like a piranha. But a 20-gallon for a piranha, maybe just one. But yeah, again, you're going to need to overfilter it by a lot. I want to throw it in the water and see. It doesn't do what people think it does. Piranha are not necessary, and nowadays people breeding these piranhas, and it does not do like a wild piranha would. You would imagine, but even those old movies where you'll see people swimming with piranha, and it's like, oh, they didn't even know, and they were in the water for a long time, long before the fish ever bit them. Yeah, that's because it takes a minute, and they're gonna see what happens, and then they'll come, and if they're hungry, especially. Which fish are easier to maintain, freshwater or saltwater? Freshwater is definitely a lot easier. Some people say, well, if you get a freshwater fish, you're going to fall in love and you're going to get a saltwater. I'm not in love with the maintenance. And that's why this series, okay? Or does it depend on the individual fish? Well, no. Saltwater fish are very high maintenance fish, um, because you can't just throw some sink water into a water box, let it hold there, and throw these little rinky dink filtration systems that you may pay well under $15 or under for the for the filtration system, and think that that's going to filter your really expensive saltwater fish. And saltwater fish really are expensive. You can get a guppy for like $3. And aquariumfishsale.com, you can get a pair for less than 10. And a pair meaning they pair the fish and they give you a male and a female, and you can get a variety, and they'll coexist. That would suck. You stick your finger in the tank. Well, again, it's not what you think, because my opinion is those people who had that with their piranha, they weren't really feeding those fish. They were starving them so that they would be more aggressive. And that's one way to get your fish to be aggressive, is to underfeed them. I don't do that because I think that's a bit cruel. It's a life. You don't want to underfeed them. I feed them accordingly. If I see that the aquarium is clean, I say, okay, and I see that they're really like looking around for food, I know that I need to increase their food level. And this fish feeder that I have on there, the green fish feeder way up there, you can gauge it by how much you need to feed it. And again, that fish feeder is extremely affordable. So this is why I'm doing this series. I know I asked a lot, but no, you're not asking a lot of questions. You're not asking enough questions. How about that? Yeah, thank you. It does sound nice. Thanks for joining us. But it's a reality. It's not a fantasy. This is something that's affordable, but there are some people out here who are sponsored, and they're doing this money grab thing, and I think it's really unfair. I understand business. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, so I understand business, but I'm more concerned about the people. The people need a way to self-soothe, and they want something to relax and calm them down from transitioning from the workplace to the home place. It'll definitely help you with your work-life balance, because you need to be able to self-soothe. And the fish kind of self-soothe you, but I mean, you can call it self-soothing still. You never answered my question about growing catfish I can eat. Um, if you have a pond in your backyard, you can definitely grow some catfish that you can eat. But I'm kind of attached to the fish, so I don't want to eat them. But you could, and do lobsters as well. You can breed them. I watch aquarium videos on YouTube, but I want to make that transition to. And you can definitely do that. And in this series, I'm going to show you a lot of information And I'm going to show you even that show aquarium that's normally in my background. I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you who I bought it from, who built, who custom made it, and the sump system that's on there. Now the sump system is a filtration system that's under the aquarium, so you don't have the hang on the back aquarium, and you don't have this internal aquarium filtration. I also did a video on another internal aquarium pump filtration system, and it was loud. My nerves, I just couldn't do it. But as you can see, I'm gonna be quiet for a moment so you can see. You can't hear anything on this aquarium. Listen, you can't hear anything. That's because that filtration system is set up to have that mat right there. So the water that's coming out and over it, unlike Matthew and Elliot's aquarium, is coming out and is running on that filter. So you can't hear anything, and is drawing all the water from those two towers on the side. Those two towers are also drawing the water through this filter. So all of that water is coming, pooling into the sponges, and is going back through the tubing down and through the filter, and it's coming out at the top clean. And I don't like noise. I like things to be quiet. I like things to be serene. I like things to be pretty and clean. And this, the reason why I have the plants floating is so you can see that there's a transition here, and you have to expect that transition. And don't get frustrated by the transition. What if I hate fish with a simple one? You can do freshwater crabs. Elliot has a lobster in there because he didn't really want to do aquarium fish, but he also has a light on there. We're going to get into that as well, where the light goes on and off all by itself. You can have these aquariums where everything is on a timer, and you might have thought that you can only do that with that big show tank that I have on my show normally, but that's not the case. Everybody can have a very affordable aquarium, and it functions by itself very easily. Now, before we go, I'm going to show you something. You may say, well, I still got to put water in it. I still got to put water in it. Now, I got this off my son's plants, so you got to excuse the way it looks. This is a 5-gallon water jug, right? And here is a little contraption that you have on there. Now, an air hose goes in this part here and goes down here, and it takes the water out of the aquarium. And the other hose here, another air hose goes into the water of your fish tank. Well, not into it, because you don't want it to siphon it out, the water out. That then you put a timer. You set the timer for when you want the water to go back into the aquarium. And you could keep this thing right under your fish tank, right on the side of your fish tank. And no, you don't have to be home to fill the water up in your aquarium. You don't have to ask somebody to come to your house because you're on vacation and you want your little 20-gallon aquarium. You worried about the pothos water level going too low and the pothos dying. You worried about the water level being too low and your plants is growing in there. Your Amazon sword is starting to reach the top of the water. You don't have to worry about that. See, what I do as an IO psych, I look at problems that companies have and I fix it. But mainly my passion is looking at the problems people have, and because they don't have the wherewithal to pay for it, I give them little hints and tips for free, like I'm doing now, and say how you can have exactly what you want for the amount of money that you can afford. Why do I do that? Because at one point in time, I need it. Where would I be without the compassion of strangers? So because I needed help and somebody helped me, I said I'll pay it forward. And if you give me a seed, I turn it into a whole child. Okay, so that's just me. So that's why I do that. Let me see. Are wood stands better than metal stands? How would you make it work if you have kids? I'm afraid of cracking tanks and flooding. And again, with the flooding, this is going to have to be a series because I can't do everything in an hour and my time is up. But I want you to understand, you can make anything work. All depending on how much money you have, you can make it work with what you have. You don't have to go out of your way and do anything. For example, this aquarium sat on my nightstand at 8 gallons, and it would have continued to sit on my nightstand if my nightstand would have been presentable enough for me to put on this show. But my nightstand sits down a little lower, and yeah, you don't need to see all that. We gonna keep the camera up a little high, keep the camera up a little high. But you can use your dresser. You can, if you have a dresser. I know sometimes people don't have a dresser. You can put an aquarium on your dresser. You do not have to go out of your way to have an aquarium that you can enjoy and look at and not have to clean and not have to top off the water. So this has been an hour. I'm going to get back into that slideshow presentation and show you more to come. What'd you say? But this was good. Yes, please do tune in for the next episode because I'm going to show you some stuff and you're going to be amazed. And a lot of these things are very, very affordable. And you can do this and you can maintain it without having to clean it and, oh, I got to run back home and feed the fish. No, you don't. Oh, you can tell people that's what you got to do, but it won't be true. Support the fish people out there. I prefer them relaxing. Yeah, because look, it's like this. You if you keep um seeing these beautiful fish and people aren't telling you how to keep it so you can keep it at an affordable price, that's just not right. I'm not a fish person, but yeah, and we'll get back into more details, and I'm going to show you the prices and where to purchase these things and the heaters that I have on the boys' aquariums. The only reason why I did this one is because I definitely wanted to be honest about what you get in this kit that Eddie purchased, and I love him for thinking about me and getting this aquarium package. But what they say on the Living Color, hated it. No, I really like a lot of features of it, but there's some things that you need to know that would work a whole lot better. I saw some woman complain about this very aquarium, and she didn't know what the workarounds were for it. So these episodes are for you guys, you fish lovers, and those of us who like want stuff, but we don't want to pay a lot of money for it, and we want to be a little lazy, and we want to just enjoy the view, not work on the view. Okay. Now with that 8 gallon aquarium, I cannot tell you the last time I cleaned it. And the reason why guppies are the easiest fish to keep is because you don't have to clean it a lot and you don't really have to feed them very often. You don't need expensive food. I get the food from Walmart, Target, or wherever they sell. I get it from the commissary, a military affiliate. I get it from the commissary. And just look, fish flakes. It doesn't matter. They'll eat it. They're not picky. And we're going to get into pictures of what kind of fish that you need so that you can balance your aquarium so that you can have algae eaters, catfish, and showfish, and how to use it that you can overstock the aquarium and still not have to clean it often. I know Father Fish is like dying looking at this. If he even looks, he's like, oh, don't overstock the aquarium. Like, yeah, you can still overstock it and not have to clean it. But yeah, he's a cool guy. I really like watching his videos, and I'm not gonna bash him because he's an elder. I don't think that anybody bashes him more so than they have their opinion of how their aquariums function. And the high tech aquariums, they do work, but it's really expensive to keep buying all those products to keep the water clean and to keep changing the water a bunch of times throughout the week, the month, or however many times they're suggesting for you to change the water. It's a bit much and it's a lot of work. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you. I'm not changing the water out, and it's not like you may be thinking and you may be afraid. Just stay tuned. We got something for you. Okay, so that's been my show. And remember, mental health is physical wealth.